Houston authorities arrest a man who's entered the country illegally 10 times. But first, I want to know who this guy is. Who is this fat guy running down the street? He's not a part of this story, but anyway, let's get back on point here. This guy entered the country illegally 10 times. Let's check it out.
Also new tonight, Houston immigration officials are calling it one of the worst repeat offender cases they have ever seen. A suspected gang member wanted for murder in Mexico, who they say has illegally entered the U.S. 10 times. Jason Miles is on the story.
He must have thought he had, maybe somebody gave him some kind of punch card to enter illegally 10 times and you stay here permanently. You get citizenship. I don't know. That's crazy.
For us, Jason, they say this case is an example of why they're conducting these targeted arrests.
That's what they say, Mia. This is the guy we're talking about, Humberto Avila. ICE says it's been tracking his back and forth movements across the border for more than 2 decades. These images of ICE deportation officers handing over Humberto Romero Avila to Mexican authorities this week possibly represents the last time he'll cross the U.S. border. According to ICE, Avila illegally has entered the country 10 times since 2002. In fact, he was immediately apprehended and returned to Mexico 4 times that year alone, and then again in 2005. Then in 2012, he was released to ICE after getting a DWI charge in Nacogdoches County after illegally entering the country for the 6th time. He was removed later that same year, but turned up again in 2013 following another DWI arrest, this time in Shelby County. Avila was back in the U.S. illegally for an 8th time in early 2014 and promptly returned to Mexico.
This guy made a career out of crossing the border illegally. But after this, I want to play a video from people who live near the border and what they say and why they voted for Trump.
Within days, he returned a month later, but was caught and prosecuted for illegal entry, then returned to Mexico after serving a 150-day sentence. The date and location of his 10th illegal entry is unknown, but he was flagged by ICE last March after yet another DWI arrest, his 4th, again in Shelby County. It was during processing for that deportation when ICE learned from the U.S. Embassy in Mexico that Avila was wanted for the 2007 murder of a 22-year-old man and reported to be a known member of the Paisas gang. In a statement, the head of Houston's ICE enforcement and removal operations said, quote, "In the more than 30 years that I've worked in immigration enforcement, I'm not sure I've ever come across a more egregious offender or a better example of why immigration enforcement is so critical to maintaining public safety." And this afternoon, I spoke with a nonprofit immigration rights group, Fiel, here in Houston. It does not generally agree with a lot of the mass deportation stuff that's been going on, but the group does believe individuals like Avila should be ICE's priority.
I think that's something everybody should agree on. Left, right, middle, violent criminals. Public safety is the main thing. But we know why people on the left only want violent criminals removed. They want to keep other people here for that, the electoral votes, the congressional seats. You know, even if they don't vote, they can still get more congressional seats. So yeah. But anyway, let's keep going here.
On Election Day, the president-elect won 14 of 18 border counties in Texas, displaying strength with Latino voters. Correspondent Brooke Taylor takes a look tonight from Eagle Pass.
In the heart of Eagle Pass, Texas, just minutes from the border, sits Blue Bonnet Baked Goods.
And then we have apple caramel streusel cheesecake.
Jacqueline Barrientos, a hardworking mother of 2, opened the bakery 2 years ago. She says illegal migrants have been driving customers away, which is why this November she voted for Donald Trump for the first time.
We would have illegals just like walking around, you know. People didn't want to really stop because they were afraid.
Trump nearly swept all.
I mean, if you just see a bunch of people they look like they just arrived from a third world country just roaming the streets, that's pretty scary to a lot of people. So I don't blame, it's not racist or anything like that. It's like, you don't know who the heck these people are, just roaming around. So I don't want to go into some business, some guy just hanging out, some strange looking guy. But take a look. This is from 2020 to 2024. Trump border counties, 1.
all the Texas counties along the southern border that typically vote Democrat. In Texas, Starr County, a majority Latino area voted Republican for the first time since 1896. Democrats can't seem to understand why.
Latinos in Texas, a district that's 97% Latino, went 75 percentage points for Donald Trump. Why?
Misogyny.
It's on the border.
It's
the border
misogyny.
crisis is on the...
Oh my gosh. I'm sorry I keep stopping this, but these women on The View drive me insane. The only thing they can allude to is that it was misogyny. That's why Latinos, 14 out of 18 border counties voted for Trump in 2024 because of misogyny. These people are lunatics.
Their doorstep.
That is why we hit the streets to hear directly from Latino Trump voters in these border counties.
I don't know what to say at BS. To me, it doesn't matter if you're male or female.
It's gas and grocery and the taxes.
It's costly. Right now, you don't get anything for less than $15, for one person.
Everyday voters fed up, just struggling to get by.
It's like, do I pay my light bill or do I go buy a piece of cheesecake from a small business? It's been hard, but we're hanging in there. So this is just extra stuff. These are the most
And while many Democrats say they were surprised by these border counties flipping, it's worth noting that not a single voter I spoke to said they were surprised. They said had people actually gone out to these communities, spoke to real people and real voters like we did, then they would see the struggles that they're facing daily. Brett.
Like they did. That's exactly right. The women on The View, they don't, these leftist liberal media, they don't want to take the time to go out there and talk to the people. I mean, some do, and they get the hard truth. They want to go prove that people hate Trump. They want to go, got you, Trump. Look, they don't like you. They didn't vote for you. They think you're a misogynist, whatever, you're racist. But no, and then a lot of times they get an answer they don't like. So you go to these border counties, and it's not because misogyny. That's just ridiculous. So you mean everybody that lives in the border county that voted for Trump is a misogynist? So what kind of BS is that? It's because this stuff is coming to their front door. If you just look, 2020 to 2024, yeah, Trump won Texas probably a pretty solid amount, but he won by an even wider margin in 2024. 6% to 14%. That's crazy. So more than doubled his percentage points of what he won by. But the border crisis was coming to people's doorstep. I heard about Colony Ridge against that in a separate video. But I heard that illegal aliens were going on people's ranch, destroying property, all kinds of crazy stuff. So this is why Trump won in such a resounding fashion at the border. 14 out of 18 border counties is insane. But I'm just so glad it happened. Thank goodness people woke up and look, traditionally, a lot of Hispanics are at heart conservative. They have conservative values, but a lot of them just old school Democrats. The family voted Democrat for a long time, but they're not stupid. Look, I'm half Hispanic myself. My dad's Guatemalan. Sorry, but it's not because of misogyny. It's because they are real people. They treat them like pawns. Democrats treat Hispanics and blacks like pawns. And they think that we can't think for ourselves. But that's further from the truth. You have some robots out there. Yes, I get that, but they have businesses, they have families, and they want safety. Plain as that. And people who come here legally and do it the right way, they don't want people to come here illegally because it's not fair. I'm going to leave that right there. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Thank you. Take care.